You're the note-taking master.
Oh, apparently I'm the master of clicking start the broadcast, and it just shows up. This is episode 88. We took like a week and a half off. Schedule conflicts. People got other stuff going on, but we found time and we're back. This Life in Tech. I'm Jason.
And I'm Dan.
And I'm Ken.
There we go. Another beautiful Thursday, my friends. Fall is here. I got the fog rolling across the fields. I'm just waiting for the zombie apocalypse to start.
So let's be clear, though. Someone was scared of a little tiny storm coming up the East Coast, so they had to bail on the last Thursday's episode.
Yeah, who was that?
I think it was you.
Well, it wasn't me, man. I haven't canceled a show in a year.
The Thursday was the hurricane. The little.
No, I had a all hands on deck at school, so it was me. He gets off on this one. So
no, this was one because he was actually with me in South Bend, and he left on Thursday.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. Well, look, man.
I don't care. Just
really, let's be honest about it. What it wasn't I was scared of being. I'll fly through the hurricane. It doesn't bother me, man. What bothered me was having to stay in South Bend for the whole weekend with you. and even more so, it doesn't bother me to spend time with you. I actually enjoy your company. What I don't like is that guy Ian putting his hands on me.
There's the entire kitchen is trashed. Like there's like 4 gouges. There's a dent in the refrigerator, like a big dent in the refrigerator, and the basement door. So
I didn't see that one.
That guy's going to be paying quite a bit here.
Have you told him?
Oh yeah, yeah.
We were having.
I'm like, I expect my kids to kind of trash the house, but not a grown adult.
Grown adult.
Well, see, Ken, to get you into this story, I went to visit Dan to help him with some stuff and to hang out for a little bit, whatnot. And one of our friends from Silent Circle works for the bank also. And he came over. And yeah, I like him, man. I've always liked him. He's a good person, except maybe when there's a little too much scotch and bourbon floating around. And randomly in the middle of a conversation, this dude got really upset about what? I have no idea, and attacked the chair he was sitting on.
The chair?
The chair.
Like he got mad and he just started hitting the chair?
Slamming it.
But here's a funny thing. So, our buddy TK, he said, Ian's always had a weak constitution when it comes to alcohol.
Yeah, man.
He can't hang with the pros.
No.
Have you gotten a hold of Connor's new scotch or his whiskey?
Did you see that online?
I did.
My!
Proper 12.
Reviews of the scotch are that it's horrible.
Horrible. They said it tasted it had a hint of vanilla on top of
ethanol,
like
rubbing alcohol. Yeah.
Well, and so let's be honest.
They forgot to keep it in barrels.
Well, let's be honest. It should. So there's 2 things. This is factual. First of all, it's not his own distillery. Bushmills makes that for him.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's sourced.
Branded, yeah.
The second thing is, it hasn't even sat in a barrel for 3 years yet. So it's going to taste not good.
Yeah. What's he doing? Why would he at least not say, give me this stuff that's been in the barrels for a couple of years?
Well, here's why. Because he didn't get a stake of ownership in the UFC. So his next bargaining chip was to force the UFC to co-promote with him. Yeah. So this guy's going to go fight next weekend, a week and a half from now. A huge fight. He's going to make bank off the pay-per-view. And then on top of it, he's getting paid just to show up, regardless of the result, based on, I bet you it's in the center of the octagon, his marketing material.
Yeah. His every fight that every UFC event that he's in will have his whiskey.
12.
Yep.
That's insane.
And I'll be honest with you, man, as a startup, I think that's a beautiful marketing strategy. Sure. This is the thing, man. If you and so there's science to back this up. If you want to know what the correct answer is, or even better, the optimized answer to a problem, post on the internet and give the wrong solution. And everybody and their fucking brother will come out of the woodwork and tell you what the right answer is. So I think it's brilliant. Quite honestly, I don't know if they actually plan this way, or if they think it's actually really good.
I don't know if he's that smart.
I don't know.
He's been hit quite hard in the past.
I don't know, man, but I think it's brilliant.
He spends money like it's going out of style.
Because he has more money than you could possibly spend.
Yeah, that is true.
But the amount of things that he is investing in, so that's the part. You know, this is probably a pretty good segue to the next part of the topic. He is investing and he is betting on himself. Mm-hmm. He is coming up with clothing lines. He's diversifying. You know, now he's in. You know, there's things that people. You know, let's say his whiskey is only marginally good. Okay, if it's just marginally good, he's still going to make a lot of money because people are going to buy it. Because if he comes in at a price point that is competitive with other Irish whiskeys, you know, he's going to make money. He's got his clothing line. He's got his own promotion that he's got going on now in terms of trying to promote fighters. That you know, and he's investing in everything about him. You know, if we all did that same thing, you know, as a society, to try to constantly invest in ourselves and be better than we were yesterday, oh, I mean, we wouldn't have to wait for the sun to die off. We could already be in another solar system.
Well, right. Yeah, exactly right, man. And so that's kind of what I wanted your guys' feedback on, especially because we have a good mix of backgrounds here. You know, we all have ties to academia. We've all been through it as doctoral students. We all have worked outside of academia. So this thing is actually one of the things this week that's really bugging me. So if you're having financial issues, whether you're a startup or an established company, whatever, right? Your budget is lean or you don't have any budget and you have to make cuts. Where do you make cuts first? I think what conservative managers think is I'm going to cut people.
Yeah.
Rather than
they're your most expensive cost.
Okay. And I think that's categorically wrong.
Michael J. Fox would agree with you. This all came out in the movie The Secret to My Success. The last thing you want to do is cut your people and stop expanding.
That's right.
He's quoting a fictional movie, but it's kind of right.
But it's absolutely correct, man. I mean, this is rich dad, poor dad bullshit, but it's actually true. And this is what we were talking about with Connor. The last thing you should do, even in a personal budget, is stop paying yourself. Is stop investing in yourself. That's the wrong fucking move, even though it's the natural first move, I think, for most people.
It is, because they look at first the expense. And, you know, as they teach us at Michigan,
oh, jeez,
time value money. And we take a look at the net present value of where we invest in our money today. What is that worth in the future?
That's right.
So, when you stop investing in employees, where is your next innovation going to come from? Right? The things you want to start where you start actually removing, at least from my perspective, is your third-party costs. How much money are you spending in contracting? Well, that's just going to have to come in-house. You know, how much money is being spent in more frivolous things that don't go to the overall core competency of the environment? Hey, you know what? Sorry, this year everyone's budget that they had for taking their teams out to lunches, that's going to have to be cut a little bit. You know, guess what? We're going to extend the life on equipment for.
That's my big one. That I'm telling you, man, computers last infinitely longer these days. It doesn't matter if you're Apple or Dell or HP. You can have a laptop last you 4 years with no problem. And that'll extend so much of your budget. But everybody's so dead set on this 3-year life cycle. I really think you could save hundreds of thousands of dollars. And servers are the same way, but everybody's going to the cloud. But
right, easily. Now, and with your laptops, people, guess what? The battery life does go shorter. So you know what's cheaper? Buy new battery.
Absolutely. $90 rather than $1,000 on a laptop.
Right. So if you start taking those things, because if you stop investing in your people, you stop investing in the core competency, whether, a lot of people will start cutting advertising, like marketing costs. Well, you do that, you're shrinking your market cap.
That's right. I mean, it's the exact opposite of what you really should do, right?
Yeah, but that's what they do, because what happens in a lot of times is they're reacting out of fear.
That's
knee jerk.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, and because they fundamentally, because I couch this very specifically for a reason, because they're conservative managers, not innovative leaders or even leaders, they don't understand what's going to get them out of the spot they're in, which is innovation. You have to pivot. There's no other way. It ain't a hurricane, man. You're not going to turn the lights off and sit in the dark and just hum until it passes. It ain't going to happen. It's only going to get worse. So, like marketing or, Ken, I don't know what LibsCoM does with you guys, but I would bet part of your contract is professional development in terms of publishing and attending conferences. And so that actually, if you compare it, I would argue dollar for dollar is cheaper marketing for the school than the direct marketing dollars they spend, for instance, like on flyers, come to LibsCoM, come to LibsCoM. No.
Or a billboard on the highway.
Right. Put you out at a conference and meet people and go interact with students.
Just not with AirPods and just
Dan, you and
right? But because the opposite is like what Dan was just saying, to me is even worse. So if you're going to cut professional development and not let us as faculty go to conferences, you're you're hamstringing more poignantly our ability to help you grow in it through innovation, but you're also directly negatively impacting your marketing reach. Why would you do that?
I know a few years ago, we had gone through some difficulties at Lipscomb, and one of the things, we used to be able to just go to a conference, whether we were, published or not. Like I would go to one in Louisville, Kentucky called DerbyCon. That was the first one I chose to go to. The trip was paid for. I wasn't speaking or anything. And then we went through a little financial difficulty, said, okay, well, we'll still let you go to conferences, but only if you're going to be speaking. You have to submit a paper and it has to get accepted. And that's okay. It just keeps me from going to conferences I don't want to go to that I'm not speaking. So there's some benefits, but I understand, wanting to cut heads. And you know what? I remember if you look at your campus or any business, you probably have a few heads that you can cut, in all honesty.
Sure.
Duplicate roles, and granted, we don't want people to lose their jobs, but all out knee-jerk reaction of just getting rid of people is probably not the right idea.
I agree. I mean, I'm not suggesting that we should categorically avoid trimming fat. In fact, I think we should do it diligently, continually.
Right.
But to have that knee-jerk reaction to not spend money on developing yourself, whether it's the individuals that comprise the collective or the collective, right? And how that filters back down to the individuals is, again, I understand it. It is fear, but man, it ain't going to help, dude. It ain't going to fix things.
Yeah.
Every place I've ever been at that does that does not end up well. And every place I've read about that does that, nope.
Well, and then there's a good point. Let's say you're a startup company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. VCs, and for the most part, for getting a lot of the first rounds of funding, they're not betting on your technology or whatever you're trying to produce. They're betting on the people.
Yeah.
That's
a
it.
Good point. Yeah.
And because they know if the right people are there, they're going to figure it out, because you're going to go through tough times and you're going to collectively have to solve very complex problems. And startups make this big they wind up, when they start having some funding issues, they cut people. We saw this at Silent Circle twice. They did this, and they started to recover the first time. They had a good strategy, and they decided again to wind up cutting, not because of the technology, but because they actually made poor business decisions. The technology itself was sound. I mean, the CEO from BlackBerry said that our phone was more secure than theirs. I mean, that probably hurt him a little bit inside. It's true, it was. But regardless, you start cutting your people, how can you recover?
Yeah.
Well, right, because not only primarily do you run the danger of getting rid of people that you're going to need for the next innovation cycle, but it also damages all the people that choose to stay.
Yeah. Unless, it's either go down with the sinking ship, but eventually you could get more funding. What happens in most of these cases, it's greed. You know who doesn't want to lose their money? The CEO.
Yeah, his golden parachute.
They're not going to cut their bonus. Oh, no. No, they're not going to do that. They got no problem getting rid of everyone else's bonus.
Right.
CEO of whatever, startup company. Well, he's still got it. He doesn't want to give up his equity for his poor decisions or her poor decisions. So they stop that investing. That's the wrong position. It's a losing. You're betting that you're going to fail.
Yeah, well, exactly. And this goes back to Connor, right? You never see him do that. You never see him plan to fail. He only plans to win, and he's very specific about it.
I can't wait for this fight.
Oh, man, it's going to be great.
Either. I'm so excited.
This would be the first fight that I pay for, well, since the last time he fought.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, I paid for the Mayweather fight, too.
You did get the Mayweather fight?
Yeah, I did.
Well, I paid for it indirectly. I watched it at somebody else's place, but I graced them with my presence.
Oh, well, that was just enough right there.
They paid for it twice.
And then some, too, because I drank all their scotch. Hey, man, I got good stories. It's worth it.
Yeah. Maybe to some.
I don't need a lot. I only need a few, man.
Yeah. But I am really looking forward to this fight. I think Connor's taking it very seriously.
I do too.
He's not out there doing all the things that he's doing. But I could tell you, Nurmagomedov, he was getting really irritated,
especially at the end when the politics came up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And he was fuming, and guess what? Now Connor knows what it's going to take. There's going to be more of those things over the next couple of days.
Yeah. Well, he fell right into the sucker's trap, man. And as soon as he started reacting to Connor, specifically by trying to get Connor to answer his questions, wrong.
Yeah.
And you saw what Connor did. He just completely ignored him or talked over him.
Yeah. I do like how he offered him some whiskey, though. He's like, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Have a drink.
Dude, could you imagine you're the champion, legit or not, you're the champion, and you're sitting there, and your opponent...
Usurper.
Okay? No. I'm talking about Habib is the champion.
Yeah. He's
sitting there. Yeah, he is, but whether it's legitimate or not, whatever, you're the champion, and you're sitting there, and the challenger announces that not only is his whiskey sponsoring the fight you're in, but he takes a shot and toast with the president of the company. I mean, how do you just be like, oh yeah, man, that's normal? That's not normal. That's not normal.
And awesome. Connor knew he didn't drink because he's a very strict Muslim. So they don't drink alcohol. And he knew it. So he's all
listen, that guy knows exactly what's going on. Did you hear after the face-off when he was calling out Ali? Oh yeah. Yep. He knows everything about all those people, man. Yeah, oh yeah. That's just pure psycho. That's some Muhammad Ali level stuff, man. Remember when he'd go taunt him? Oh yeah. He drove the bus up to that dude's house at night and was yelling at him. And did you ever see the video of when I don't know if it was before or after that, but it was the same fight when he was haranguing that dude in a casino, and the dude took out a starter pistol in the casino and started shooting.
I never heard that.
Yeah, was that Sonny Liston?
Sonny Liston. That's who he took the title from, right?
Yeah. That was Sonny Liston.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a video of it, man.
I'll have to go look that up. I love boxing.
Sonny Liston shoots a gun at Muhammad Ali. They were in a casino, and I think Sonny Liston was playing craps. And Muhammad Ali found out where he was and showed up and started yelling at him and taunting him.
I wish I could do that to my students sometimes, when they complain.
Yeah, well, do it.
Show up at their dorm room, just start banging on the door.
No, make them come to you. They're coming to class anyway. Why would you expend the energy?
That's true.
The champ never takes the walk.
True that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, that's not true.
Huh.
Connor flew all the way across the ocean.
But that wasn't the walk. That was retribution.
Yeah, well, he did. And the funny part is, as he's saying in that conference, I'm glad you didn't get off that bus because you would be in a box and I would be in a jail cell.
Well, you know, have you watched any of Chael Sonnen's breakdown of this? Because he's another master shit talker.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And in my opinion, he's spot.
I consider Chael to be above average amateur, but it's decent.
I mean, he's certainly WWE level.
He hasn't taken all of my tips that I keep sending over to him, but it's not bad.
Sometimes,
but I haven't seen his breakdown. What did he talk about with his breakdown?
Particularly given the choice to not let anybody but the media, because the strange part of that was the media, man. And the questions, the way the media were acting when they were asking questions was just bizarre, and there was like zero anybody else there, which was strange, right?
Was Ariel there?
I don't remember. I didn't hear him. He didn't ask any questions.
I don't hear him either.
I don't know what he does now that they moved over to ESPN, because he has at least one show with Chael where they do breakdowns. But I don't know what else Ariel does now. So I don't know if he goes out as an independent journalist anymore.
Got it. Yeah.
But you know, Chael was talking about how Connor clearly has no problem embracing being the bad guy, the villain. And if you're going to be the villain, what better way to be the villain than to market yourself in part by using that footage, which the UFC did, of him smashing that bus up.
Dude, that's just free advertising. Because you know what? Guys like us are going to get that video and post it on Twitter, and then we're going to be like, dude, did you see this? And it's going to go like wildfire. They didn't have to pay for any advertising.
Right.
This is not like a McDonald's or a Subway. This is like free. This is like Apple type advertising. Word of mouth.
What I'm trying to figure out is the couple of people that have decided to take a lawsuit as to what they think they could actually get.
I don't know.
Did that guy actually get hurt?
Yeah, several people actually got hurt. I mean, one dude had to pull out of a fight, Michael Chisea.
Yeah.
His corneas got scratched by
glass or something.
So, I mean, people did, but I don't know how. I don't know, man. And how much are you going to get?
My guess is, if I was thinking about it, probably 5 times their potential purse.
Right.
I think, yeah.
So that dude is an undercard fighter, and I mean, what's he getting? 15 to show, 15 to win, 50 to show, 50 to win, maybe, probably 35. You could look because they publish it.
You got to show damage, right? And Chisea just fought recently, right? Didn't he just fight like
because I think they moved into the next card or the two cards, yeah.
So you can't say it had long-term effects because you got cleared medically to fight. So really, your loss is X. So they'll probably put some type of damage on top of that. So my guess is probably 5X your purse potential.
Right. In a civil case.
Yeah, and so let's say it was, if it was 100,000, so they're going to give them 500 grand. That's probably more money that dude would ever get anyway because he's not that great of a fighter.
Well, and it's a fraction of what Connor's making based off this marketing alone.
Yeah.
Speaking of marketing, man, this is something else I wanted to talk about. How about Jon Jones only getting 15 months retroactive?
They said he wasn't at fault. So
he's fighting December, isn't he? Or they're trying to get the fight for this year?
Gustafsson?
I don't know. But here's the thing, too. Don't forget, part of his deal with USADA was he has to rat.
Oh.
And you already know that guy's a rat because he made a big point out of it in an interview talking about how he used to rat people out in high school for smoking pot.
Yeah.
People are hey, you know what they say, snitches get stitches.
Eventually.
But who's going to give him stitches? So
that's true.
In reality, Jon Jones is probably the best fighter the UFC has ever had. I don't think that's ball.
Pound for pound, yeah. I mean, he's certainly in the top 3 without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, he can stand. He can grapple. He's got submission. I don't know.
And he can go the distance if he needs to.
Well, so, remember 10 years ago, we were talking about Anderson Silva this way. And so the point I would make is that while they're extreme exceptions, they're extremely rare, these types of athletes, every so often a new one comes around. And how long is it going to be before the next one comes around in that weight class?
Well, in light heavyweight, I don't know.
I don't know, man. Maybe never. Maybe that is the answer. I don't know.
In light heavyweight, I don't know. Going down the weight class where Silva was, I think even more of a chance in there because just of the weight.
I think there's just a bigger population to draw from.
Yeah. Jon Jones is just a freak of nature.
Yeah. Think about how much better he'd be if he wasn't a complete fuck up.
No kidding. I mean, he literally could have been the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Easily.
Because his only loss came to a BS DQ against that deaf guy.
Matt Hamill.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the 12-9 elbows.
Yeah.
That's right.
And the guy was like, I can't go anymore. I'm done. No, he was done because he's like, I don't want to get hit anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would want to get hit by Jon Jones with elbows 12 times.
That's Jon Jones's only loss.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, and so, but here's the thing too, is who actually is going to fight him? I mean, DC's the double champ, and his next fight is against Brock Lesnar at heavyweight.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
I think Brock is going to wind up destroying him.
I think so too, dude.
I think so
too. Yes. Yes.
Dude, Lesnar, now you want to talk about a freak of nature. Lesnar, body-wise, is a freak of nature.
I was in Vegas and I watched him destroy Randy Couture.
Really?
And, I mean, dude, it wasn't – it was like me beating up my 3-year-old. That's what it looked like in person.
Randy Couture is he's an average size light heavyweight that his wrestling, because Randy Couture is no joke as a wrestler, but when you're giving up 100 pounds,
yeah,
right, Brock Lesnar has to cut weight to make the 265.
I'm gonna go watch that fight again.
Yes. Well, and if you watch it, man,
now I'm gonna be more aware of that.
There's this cliche in weapons that if you're standing next to the round from a 50 caliber Barrett, the shock wave will take your head off. That's the cliche, right? I'm telling you, man, I saw that punch Lesnar hit Couture with that knocked him out, and it barely hit him. But that dude's hands are like the size of my head. And if you get clipped by that, now, of course, we know Brock Lesnar has a problem getting punched. He doesn't like it.
No.
So can DC punch him? They're both really high-level wrestlers. DC's arguably higher, being an Olympic medalist.
Yeah.
But Lesnar was no joke in college.
NCAA champion.
But you know what? DC can take shots because he did get the crap beat out of him by Jon Jones, not once, but twice.
That's true.
But we're talking about someone now that's got 100 pounds on you.
That's right, man.
No, yeah, and I agree with that. But DC he's had the fights that Lesnar has only pretended to have those fights. Although I am a big Lesnar and DC fan.
I think it's going to be an entertaining fight. I don't know if it's entertaining enough for me to buy it, but I'll
When is that one?
I might go to one of the sports bars that has it.
That's what I would do. Yeah, I would go split with somebody, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to a Connor fight, I have no problem paying for it and watching it by myself because they usually stack those cards too. You know what I mean?
It'll be an interesting fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to buy the Jon Jones Gustafsson fight.
No,
I'm not interested. Though it's funny. Do you see they're trying to push the 165 with Diaz and what's the other guy's name?
Now I don't remember. I mean, because Diaz is the only one I was paying attention to. But it's bizarre because both of them said we're going to fight for this new interim 165 belt.
Yeah,
and of course the UFC is like, there's no 165 belt.
Yeah, well, that's the boxing association, which MMA still falls up to, just granted or authorized 4 new weight classes.
And I think that's a perfect move, man. Get rid of this weight cutting bullshit. They've lost more fights from weight cutting, causing people to pull out, than anything else, man.
And it's just making the fighter sick.
It is horrible.
It's dangerous.
For your health.
It's really dangerous.
It leads to traumatic brain injury.
Yep.
I mean, they're already getting pounded in the head.
Well, and that's right, because remember what your brain is suspended in: water, more or less. And so when you dehydrate, part of that water comes from
the brain.
The brain. But I don't know, man. We'll see. I think it's a great move. If nothing else, it allows them to get more people and have more fights. You have more champions to promote. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and though I don't think Nate Diaz, like Nate's a good fighter, and he's not. I don't think he has every person he's gone up. Like I can't think of a top person he's beaten at his weight class.
Wait, did he fight Connor and beat him?
Yeah, but Connor, Diaz outweighs Connor by a good 40 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they're walking around, I mean, like not that it wasn't a good fight, and not that Diaz didn't beat him, but when you talk about, if Nate Diaz had to come down to 140 weight class, he would have gotten smoked.
I mean, this is the difference, though, right? We can talk about somebody like Connor or Jon Jones, and you can talk about moments in fights that were just out of this world, like the destruction of Eddie Alvarez. Jesus Christ, dude. Right? I mean, but you can, so that's Connor to us. Whereas the Diaz brothers, both of them, they have good fights. They beat people. But what's memorable about them is all of their bullshit outside of the fight.
Oh,
right?
But I think Nick is a much better fighter than Nate. And Nick has beaten some legitimate people.
I 100% agree with you. I mean, Nate's destruction of Takanori Gomi back when it was still Pride.
Yeah. At
that point, Gomi was a world beater. He was the best at that weight class worldwide. Everybody loved him. And then he got schooled.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Nate Diaz popped hot for weed for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was ruled a no contest.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, the Diaz brother, I mean, the thing about them is that now they're getting a little bit more, they're getting smarter when it comes to the business side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Still, they will fight anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, and you got to respect that. I mean, they're a fighter's fighter.
Right. Oh, and the great part was when they asked Nate about Nurmagomedov and Connor, he's like, I already slapped both those two bitches.
Don't forget, Nate and Nick got into a fight with Habib and his crew it was a club or maybe it was like a lower tier show in the crowd. I mean, they got in a scuff.
And it spilled into the casino.
That's right. That's right.
Nuts, man. What a mess.
He slapped the shit out of him.
Yeah. He's like, he did nothing.
Oh, man. Well, maybe we end here, guys. Do you think Connor gets him out in a round?
I think it's going to be the third round.
You think
I'm going to go with Dan on this one.
Third round TKO. I think what winds up occurring is I think one of the biggest things Connor's been doing is, takedown defense. And I think what's going to wind up occurring is Nurmagomedov, I don't believe, has the gas in his tank either. He's going to go to shoot. He's going to be slow from that, and he's going to get popped, and he's going to go to sleep.
Man, I want to say it's going to be late in the first round, but I really think it's going to be in the second. I really don't think Khabib's going to know what to do when he gets hit. I really don't. And it's inevitable. He's going to get hit. Look at Chad Mendes. It's very similar to that. Everybody thought Chad Mendes, being a great grappler, was just going to hold Connor down and maul him. Dude, that didn't happen.
No.
Kind of likes to throw.
We saw exactly how to beat Nurmagomedov with the whatever his name is. I don't remember his name. Dude that got beat. Aya something.
Iaquinta. Al Iaquinta.
I mean, basically, he doesn't have enough power to really do much damage. If he gets you on the ground, yeah, you might get beaten, but you can get up.
Mm-hmm.
And take out, just start with those leg kicks. Nurmagomedov his power will be gone, and Connor can kick.
Yeah, man. That was his main weapon against Chad Mendes. Yeah. Man, you get hit in the stomach. Yeah, it's not doing damage in the same way that like you're getting cut and bled and knocked out. But man, you can't breathe.
No.
When you disrupt somebody's breathing with those little front teep kicks, they're like little Muay Thai kicks.
Yeah.
Dude, you can't breathe. And if you can't breathe, you're not getting oxygen. If you don't get oxygen, your muscles start seizing up.
Yep. So I've got Connor.
Those guys are tough.
I'm really looking forward to the fight. I think Connor's going to be talking to him. It's going to be worse than what he did to Nate Diaz talk.
Oh yeah,
I wish they could mic a live fighter up. That would be so freaking awesome.
You know, to that point, and I'll finish here. Pride used to, and in fact, Pride had cameras on the refs, and so
I remember that.
You could go back and rewatch the fight, but from the ref's perspective, and you had full audio, and the audio was so good. They must have interpolated it from multiple mics around the ring because you could hear everything. The fighters, the corners. In Japan, they're so polite. You never heard the crowd because they didn't really do anything. They're so nice. And you heard it all. And you had high-def video, man, from, like, a point of view. It was awesome. Stick a fucking drone in there, man. I mean, come on.
Why not?
Yeah.
All right, my friends.
All right.
Enjoy Ignite.
I'm off to pursue some professional development.
Peace.
Later, everybody.
See you guys.